For the vast majority of human existence, the concept of retirement simply didn't exist. There was no farewell party, no gold watch, no sudden drop from a life of movement to a life of stillness. Humans didn't evolve to simply stop. Yet today, millions reach a certain age and do exactly that. They finish their careers, and overnight, their daily routines vanish, their steps plummet, and an invisible, insidious process begins. This isn't just a lifestyle change, it's a biological trigger. Retirement doesn't have to be a slow fade, but for many, it becomes a fast track to aging, not because of the number of candles on the cake, but because of the absence of motion. Think of your body as a river. When a river flows, it stays clear, oxygenated, full of life. But when the current slows, when the water stops moving, sediment settles, stagnation sets in, and the ecosystem begins to die. Your body is no different. Movement is the current that keeps every system clean, responsive, and alive. Stop that current and the stagnation begins, not in weeks or months, but in days. Our bodies are the product of a 300,000-year-long experiment in movement. They were forged in a world where sitting down was a brief rest, not a permanent state. Our ancestors didn't punch out at 65. Their very survival and the survival of their families depended on a constant cycle of walking, lifting, carrying, and solving problems until their final days. Every system we have, our muscles, our bones, our hearts, our brains, was shaped by this relentless demand for physical engagement. So what happens when you remove that demand? The body, in a cruel twist of efficiency, begins to shut down what it thinks you no longer need. Science is now quantifying what evolution always knew. Within mere weeks of a sedentary life, the deterioration begins. Muscle fibers start to thin, strength wanes, your metabolic engine sputters. Blood sugar becomes harder to control. The cardiovascular system, once a powerful pump, begins to show signs of wear. Studies from leading institutions show that a sudden drop in activity leads to measurable declines in heart function and metabolic health in less than a month. Think about that. A single month. That's all it takes for the architecture of your vitality to start cracking. And the first casualty is your muscle mass. By the age of 70, the average inactive adult has lost nearly 30% of the muscle they had at 30. But this isn't just about strength or appearance. Muscle is your metabolic currency. It's the furnace that burns energy, regulates sugar, and protects your hormonal balance. When that furnace dims, your metabolism slows, fat accumulates, and your risk for diseases like type 2 diabetes skyrockets. More than that, muscle acts as a reservoir of amino acids that your immune system draws upon to fight infection and repair damage. Lose muscle, and you lose a critical line of defense. Simultaneously, your bones begin to betray you. They respond to stress by growing denser. Without the daily load of walking, lifting, and bending, they become brittle. Osteoporosis isn't a random disease. It's a consequence of disuse. A skeleton that has been told it is no longer needed. An invisible fire also ignites within you. Chronic inflammation. This is a silent driver of aging, a low-grade cellular burn that damages organs, disrupts hormones, and accelerates the decline of everything from your skin to your brain. A recent analysis found that sedentary seniors have inflammation markers 50% higher than their active peers. Even your brain suffers from this stillness. Your mind, just like your muscles, craves the stimulation that comes from a moving body. Research from top universities shows that seniors who dramatically reduce their movement experience faster cognitive decline, memory lapses, and even earlier onset of dementia. Here's why. When you move, your muscles release molecules called myokines. These are chemical messengers that travel to your brain and act like fertilizer for new neurons. Movement literally grows your brain. Without it, that fertilizer disappears, and the garden of your mind begins to wither. Society encourages you to sit, to relax, to finally take it easy. But retiring without a plan for movement is like telling your heart to take a break for a few hours and expecting it to resume beating strong. It doesn't work that way. Our genetic code holds a stark warning. It was written in environments where movement was non-negotiable. Your DNA expects daily, meaningful physical and mental engagement. When that engagement disappears, the body reacts as it always has, by dismantling systems it considers unnecessary. Muscles shrink, metabolism stalls, energy plummets, and the risk for heart disease, stroke, and cognitive decline explodes. This isn't aging, this is disuse. In fact, researchers have demonstrated that active individuals past 65 can maintain the cardiovascular, muscular, and cognitive function of sedentary people decades younger. Age is just a number. Inactivity is the real culprit. One long-term study published in a major cardiology journal tracked retirees for a decade and found a shocking correlation. Those who cut their physical activity by more than half after retirement had a 40% higher risk of death compared to those who stayed active. That's not a number to gloss over. It's a biological wake-up call. But here's the critical part. It's never too late to reverse this trend. Your body is remarkably adaptable. It doesn't require a gym membership or a marathon. What it needs is consistent, daily purpose. You need to lift, walk, bend, and interact. Challenge your body in the ways it was designed to be challenged, and combine that with fuel that works for you, not against you. Protein to preserve your muscle, anti-inflammatory foods to cool the cellular fire, fiber to feed your gut, the center of your immune system, and water to keep every chemical reaction in your body flowing smoothly. Evolutionary science also reveals another key ingredient: purpose. In traditional societies, older adults never stopped contributing. They gathered, they cared for the young, they remained central to their community. This wasn't just social, it was biological armor. These purposeful roles kept them physically active and mentally sharp. For you, that means staying socially engaged, volunteering, caring for loved ones, and pursuing hobbies that demand physical and mental effort. It means never allowing your body to sit idle for hours on end. The message is stark and undeniable. Retiring from your job does not mean retiring from life. Retiring from activity is a prescription for accelerated aging. Every day spent sedentary chips away at your muscle, your bones, your metabolism, and your mind. Every day without movement fans the flames of inflammation and increases your risk of disease. But every day spent moving, lifting, walking, and engaging actively reverses those trends. Age is a number, but biological decline is a choice. Evolution did not design you to stop at 65. It designed you to adapt, to move, and to thrive for a lifetime. So the question isn't whether you can slow aging after a certain age. The question is whether you will choose to keep moving, keep engaging, and keep living, because inactivity is the thief. And every choice you make now either accelerates or slows the relentless march of biological time. Imagine a life where growing older doesn't feel like surrender, where a milestone birthday isn't a signal to slow down, but an invitation to thrive in a new, powerful way. This is the world of the active grandparent. It sounds almost too simple. Move more, engage more. But what science is uncovering is nothing short of extraordinary. The patterns that allowed our species to survive for hundreds of thousands of years are now revealing the blueprint for vitality, sharpness, and a longer life. Anthropologists call it the grandmother hypothesis. In traditional hunter-gatherer groups, older adults, especially grandmothers, were never idle. They gathered food, passed down knowledge, and cared for the children. They walked miles, carried loads, prepared meals, and were the social anchors of their tribe. Their activity wasn't optional, it was essential for the group's survival. And this lifestyle, it turns out, was profoundly protective, not exhausting. Modern science confirms that elders who remain physically active and socially engaged experience dramatically slower biological aging. A study from the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that seniors who engaged in daily, low to moderate activity, things like gardening, walking, and light strength work, maintained muscle mass and cognitive function equivalent to people a decade younger. The secret isn't intensity, it's consistency. Your body evolved over millennia to expect movement, and it responds to repeated, meaningful activity. Every step, every lift, every task performed with intention sends a powerful signal to your brain and muscles. Stay strong, stay alert, stay alive. Your cardiovascular system follows the same principle. The American Heart Association reports that seniors who walk for just 30 minutes a day cut their risk of heart disease by nearly 40%, even if they start later in life. Your arteries, veins, and heart muscle respond to regular movement by maintaining their elasticity, blood flow, and resilience. But it's not just the body. Your mind flourishes under this model. Social engagement, mentoring younger generations, and participating in family or community activities are all forms of mental exercise. The University of Michigan's Health and Retirement Study found that socially active seniors show lower rates of cognitive decline and dementia. Purpose, in this context, is not just a psychological comfort, it's a biological shield. And here's the truly remarkable part. You don't need fancy equipment or a gym membership. Simple, functional movements. Carrying groceries, playing with grandkids, preparing a meal, tending a garden, walking to a neighbor's house are enough to trigger profound anti-aging effects. A study in the Journal of Gerontology showed that older adults who performed these everyday movements maintained muscle strength, balance, and metabolic function significantly better than those who only did isolated gym exercises a few times a week. Even more compelling is the data from Okinawa, Japan, a region famous for its long-lived population. Elders there rarely retire in the traditional sense. They remain active in their homes, cook for family, tend gardens, and walk extensively. This active engagement correlates directly with lower rates of heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and cognitive decline. Take the example of the Ikaria, Greece, another blue zone where people routinely live past 90. On this tiny Aegean island, the concept of retirement is foreign. Farmers in their 80s still tend their vineyards, walking steep hillsides every day. They gather herbs, socialize in town squares, and eat meals that take hours to prepare from scratch. Their secret isn't a magic herb. It's a life woven with movement, connection, and purpose. And the result is that dementia is rare, heart disease is uncommon, and vitality persists into the final decade of life. Science is now revealing the biological mechanisms behind this. Movement triggers a cascade of growth factors and hormones that preserve muscle tissue, support neuronal growth, and reduce inflammation. Lifting, bending, and walking stimulate the mitochondria, the tiny powerhouses in your cells, keeping them efficient and healthy. Even small daily doses of activity produce measurable results: stronger muscles, healthier bones, sharper cognition, and lower inflammation. Nutrition is the perfect partner to this lifestyle. Active grandparents tend to eat whole, nutrient-dense foods, often preparing meals from scratch. Protein intake preserves muscle. Anti-inflammatory foods protect cells. Fiber nourishes gut bacteria, enhancing immunity and metabolism. Hydration keeps every physiological system running smoothly. But beyond the biology, there's a deeper lesson. Active grandparenting is about structure, connection, and purpose. Daily routines that involve caring for others, contributing to family, and engaging physically are profoundly anti-aging. They replace the artificial pause of retirement with a natural rhythm that your body recognizes. Every step walked, every meal prepared, every interaction with a younger generation is a signal to your body. You are needed, you are alive, you are strong, and the results are quantifiable. Seniors who embrace this lifestyle have longer telomeres, the protective caps on your chromosomes, slower epigenetic aging, lower markers of chronic inflammation, and a reduced risk of chronic disease. One recent study in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that active, socially engaged elders had better immune function and lower mortality rates compared to their sedentary peers. This isn't theory, it's hard data. It's evolution in action, and it's available to anyone willing to embrace it. The psychological transformation is just as powerful. Physical activity combined with purposeful engagement elevates mood, reduces stress, and protects against depression. Seniors report higher life satisfaction and mental resilience. They feel capable, connected, and valued. So how do you put this into practice? Start small. Walk every day, even if it's just for 20 minutes. Lift light weights, carry your own groceries, or get your hands dirty in the garden. Cook meals from scratch, savoring the process. Play with grandchildren, neighbors, or even your pets. Volunteer in a way that requires movement. Structure your day around activity and purpose, not just passive leisure. Pair this with a diet rich in protein, anti-inflammatory foods, fiber, and water. Avoid prolonged sitting. Replace idle hours with active engagement. Over time, these habits compound, sending signals to your body that preserve function, strength, and resilience. Age is not a prison. Biological decline is not inevitable. The act of staying active, socially connected, and purposeful can slow aging in ways that even the best medications cannot replicate. In essence, the secret of the active grandparent is simple yet profound. Stay needed, stay moving, stay engaged. Your body responds instantly. Your muscles preserve themselves. Your heart beats strong. Your mind sharpens. Your inflammation drops. Your energy rises. Every step, every lift, every interaction counts. And when you embrace this lifestyle, the years after a career become a new beginning, not an ending. You stop sitting quietly while life passes you by. Instead, you actively shape every day, every movement, every interaction into a form of anti-aging medicine. The evidence is clear, the biology undeniable, and the choice yours. The question is not how old you are, but how active, purposeful, and engaged you choose to be. Because the active grandparent doesn't just add years to life, they add life to years. You've seen the stories. People retire, slow down, and suddenly the years feel heavier. But there is another secret, one that researchers and longevity experts are uncovering. Movement alone is powerful, but the fuel you put in your body after a certain age can be the difference between accelerating decline and unlocking a new chapter of vitality, strength, and longevity. Nutrition is the silent partner in this fight against time. Every bite you take sends chemical messages to your cells. either protecting them or accelerating their decay. And as we age, our bodies become less efficient at extracting what they need from food. Our digestive systems slow. Our muscles struggle to synthesize protein. Our immune defenses weaken. This means the food we once took for granted becomes essential medicine. Protein is the cornerstone. Without it, your body begins a process called sarcopenia, muscle loss that accelerates weakness, reduces metabolism, and increases the risk of falls and fractures. Studies show that adults over 65 need a significant amount of high-quality protein at each meal to maintain muscle mass. Eggs, fish, lean poultry, dairy, and legumes aren't just food. They are the building blocks of strength. But protein alone isn't enough. Chronic inflammation is one of the greatest drivers of aging, linked to heart disease, Alzheimer's, cancer, and diabetes. The foods you eat can either fan that inflammatory fire or extinguish it. Turmeric, rich in curcumin, can reduce inflammatory markers. Berries packed with antioxidants protect your cells from oxidative damage. Olive oil, nuts, and leafy greens keep your arteries flexible and your metabolism smooth. The Mediterranean diet, long studied in longevity research, consistently shows lower rates of cardiovascular disease and higher life expectancy. Fiber is equally critical. Your gut houses trillions of bacteria that regulate immunity, metabolism, and even brain function. Fiber nourishes these microbes, creating a resilient, balanced system. Whole grains, vegetables, fruits, and legumes are armor for your body's most essential systems. Hydration is often overlooked. Aging dulls your body's thirst signals, making dehydration a common and dangerous threat. Water is the medium for every chemical reaction in your body. It transports nutrients, flushes toxins, lubricates joints, and maintains cellular function. A dehydrated body ages faster. And then there's the behavioral power of food. Cooking meals, preparing ingredients, sharing meals with loved ones, these are forms of physical and mental engagement that complement the anti-aging benefits of movement. When you cook, you bend, lift, chop, and walk. Your brain plans, calculates, and coordinates. Your body moves. Your life gains structure. These daily acts, repeated consistently, become a potent anti-aging ritual. Evolutionary science backs this up. Our ancestors didn't eat processed, nutrient-poor foods. They ate what they could gather, hunt, and prepare. Foods dense in protein, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Their meals demanded effort, movement, and engagement. Today, when we emulate that pattern, even in modern kitchens, our bodies respond. It preserves muscle, strengthens bones, fuels the brain, and reduces inflammation. And there's more. Emerging research on protein timing shows that distributing protein evenly throughout the day maximizes muscle synthesis. Skipping protein at breakfast or lunch drastically reduces your ability to maintain muscle, even if you eat a large portion at dinner. Strategic nutrition matters. Anti-inflammatory spices, antioxidants, healthy fats, and hydration, combined with protein, can lower biological age markers. Telomere length, epigenetic age, and inflammation all respond to diet. Science shows that what you eat today literally changes the speed at which your cells age. One study demonstrated that older adults following a diet rich in vegetables, berries, nuts, and lean protein had significantly lower markers of oxidative stress, better insulin sensitivity, and improved cognitive performance in just 6 months. This isn't hypothetical. It's real, measurable, and reproducible. But here's the key. Nutrition works best when it's paired with activity and purpose. Moving your body, staying engaged socially, and eating strategically form a trifecta of longevity. Without any one piece, the system falters. Nutrition amplifies the benefits of movement, and movement amplifies the benefits of nutrition. Together, they create a feedback loop that slows aging in ways medicine alone cannot replicate. Now consider the deeper layer, the psychological shift that occurs when you view food not as a source of pleasure alone, but as a tool for resilience. Every time you choose a colorful vegetable over a processed snack, you're casting a vote for your future self. Every time you sit down to a shared meal, you're reinforcing the social bonds that have been shown to be as important to longevity as quitting smoking. In the blue zones, the tradition of breaking bread with family and friends isn't just cultural. It's a health intervention. The act of cooking together, eating slowly, and connecting with others has been shown to lower stress hormones, improve digestion, and increase the absorption of nutrients. The message is simple, yet profound. Aging is not inevitable decline. Muscle, bone, metabolism, brain function, and immune resilience can all be preserved and enhanced through daily nutrition choices. Protein-rich meals support strength. Anti-inflammatory foods protect your heart and brain. Fiber nourishes your gut, and water sustains every cell. When combined with movement and purpose, these choices are no longer optional. They are your weapon against accelerated aging. Every meal becomes an opportunity to fight back against the invisible processes that slowly rob you of strength, vitality, and life. Imagine your body not as a ticking clock, but as a garden. Every nutrient is a seed. Every sip of water is a stream. Every bite of protein, fiber, or antioxidant-rich food nourishes the soil, strengthens the roots, and allows the garden to flourish. Neglect it, and decay sets in. Tend it, and it thrives, even in the later years of life. The science is compelling, the evidence is clear, and the choice is yours. You can accept the decline society expects, or you can combine movement with strategic nutrition to preserve your body, sharpen your mind, and protect your health. In fact, nutrition may be the single most powerful lever for reversing biological aging when paired with active engagement. Every protein-packed breakfast, every colorful vegetable, every glass of water is a step toward longevity, resilience, and vitality. It's not just food. It's anti-aging medicine, designed by evolution, proven by science, and available to anyone willing to act. The active grandparent moves, the active grandparent engages, and the active grandparent eats to fuel life, not merely to survive it. This is the final piece of the puzzle. Movement protects your muscles and heart, purpose strengthens your mind, nutrition amplifies every benefit, slows cellular decay, and keeps the body resilient against time itself. Together they form a triad that science confirms is the most potent weapon against accelerated aging. And the beauty of it is that it's entirely in your control. You don't need advanced technology. You don't need prescriptions. You don't need to reverse time. You need knowledge, consistency, and commitment. You need to move, engage, and eat in ways that honor the design of your body. Every bite, every sip, every meal is a choice, either to accelerate decline or to nurture life. Evolution designed your body to respond. Science confirms the pathways. The moment you act, your cells notice, your muscles strengthen, your brain sharpens, inflammation drops, energy rises, and aging slows. Nutrition is the amplifier, the catalyst, the silent guardian of your health. And when combined with activity and purpose, it is nothing short of revolutionary. The choice is in your hands. Every meal is a chance to reclaim vitality, preserve independence, and live fully, even in the decades beyond a certain age. Your biology is listening, and if you feed it wisely, it will reward you with strength, resilience, and life. If you found this information valuable, please hit that like button for the Dr. Lieberman's Explained channel. It helps us reach more people who need to hear this message.